Hello and welcome to the fourth session of Veil Fantasy. This is a fantasy hack of the Veil, which is a cyberpunk role-playing game. It says there right on the book. Whoop, whoop. Has a couple of sequels. It's one of my favorite PBTA, Powered by the Apocalypse games. This is a light reskin of that. We are past the halfway mark for this. And we're going to take up with our characters here in just a second. My name is Lowell, he, him pronouns. And I also want to mention that this is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts, which is an online gaming community. If you're interested in online gaming, we have a calendar and we have people come on and play with us for a bit, and then they join us at GM. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. We do OSR, story games, indie games. It's a good place to check out. And of course, we have our own YouTube channel, which broadcasts most of these sessions, as well as my own channel, which just has uploaded a bunch of games each week, except for the holidays, because the holidays are bunk. So just know that. So where we left off last time, I want to set a few things in frame to consider. Then we're going to do some start of session moves. The session before last, the group had found that there was a set of battles going on between various mage groups. One that was falling from grace out of the list of registered magical colleges, and a couple of others that were competing for them, including an alchemy group who had decided to collect certain things, including Arklo's fingers and Dentalian's hair. At that point, Dentalian did not have a name, but it was the demon's hair at that point. And so steps were taken to see what they could do about that, which worked mixed results, I'm going to say, in that. But anyway, that rolled in. There was a fight. There was an angel. A couple of them that attacked the group. Damage was done. The group got out of that situation. Dantalian absorbed one of the angels. This previous session, the group began to look around to see what more they could find out about these magical organizations that were involved in things, how to get essentially towards the scholars in the center. They want to get to the towers. That's a particularly Damsa's goal, to get in towards that. Dantalian's still trying to figure things out. Dantalian spoke briefly with Grimfinger, who is a god who would like Dantalian to join. And there was an incident where some of Opal's people got knifed while Damsa was nearby, and Damsa managed to save one of them and bring them back, and there was some revelations in the course of that. In the city itself, a frost, a winter has fallen in that way that these sudden winters do. People unprepared for this, so everything is cold, ice-covered, wet right now for the moment. That is the current situation. That has heightened certain tensions going on in the background. We know about the schools of sorcery, the schools of magic that are having their fights. We know that there are various factions going on. But last time we also discovered that the High Navigator, the person who is the leader of the city, the person at the top of the food chain, is apparently grievously ill. And right now, there's lots of people jockeying for position because there is no obvious successor. And that's a big issue. We also we saw some fires when people were rushing to heat their homes from the sudden climate change. We saw that there were some fires that broke out. We also saw that some of that was being done by some of the factions to advance their agenda. And one of the other big factors was one of the major crossroads sections. And again, remember that our city is a whole set of neighborhoods that are floating fairly high up off this body of water. The whole city moves. These sections are connected together. As you get towards the center, they're tighter. easier to get across. They stick together as you get further out. That gets looser and looser and more challenging. The sewage system becomes more grotesque as you get further out. But one of the major crossroad neighborhoods has been closed due to a cholera outbreak. And that has backed up traffic in a big section of the city, and that is raising tensions as well. So that's some of the things that are going on in the background as we start. Dantalion, you have a start a session move, correct?
I do. That is correct.
Then let's start with that.
Mine's quite simple. I just roll 2 flat dice, and that's a 10. Continuing my streak of succeeding at this roll unnecessarily.
Okay. Yeah, you have not missed on this at all. Let's see, what's a question that we haven't yet asked that is appropriate? Well, this is one we haven't asked, and that is a big, outstanding one that I want to put to you now. Who created / summoned you?
Yeah. That is that's one of the ones I was hoping that I'd get to ask you at some point. So I think that this I think that there is a rogue sorcerer called what will we call them? I think they are Ember. We'll just go with Ember.
Okay.
Who was my original creator. They summoned me, I think. Not like I think it is. I think it's someone who is still around. It's not like they didn't summon me, centuries past sort of thing. This is moderately recent, though not as recently as my memories go back to. And I think that they did summon me and bind me to their service, but something happened that broke the actual binding part of the spell, possibly linked to me also subsequently losing my memories.
So you're not sure what caused that binding to snap?
No, I don't think I am yet. I think having discovered the name I was summoned by has kind of opened up a bit of that link back to Ember.
And I'm going to suggest, just so we can think about it, have it in mind, with a name like Ember, and the fact that we have Arklow the Dawn, who is from the Sun-Scorched magic users, I suspect that there is some connection there that we'll have to work out.
That certainly makes sense.
Okay.
And might explain how Arklow was able to help me out when I was wounded that time.
Excellent. Arklow, do you have any start of session moves? I don't think you do.
I do not.
Okay. Don't forget when you go to a new place
to
generate some mana. Well, I'm just going to tell you, just remember to do that, so you have some mana, so you're not running on zero fumes there.
Yep.
Okay. And Opal, you do have a start of session move, and you managed to clear that black mark last time.
Yeah, it cost me all my gold.
Yes, it did.
So now I have 8 XP and I can't spend it. I can't take an advance.
Not until you do some kind of gig or do something to get some money.
Yeah, well, my main job right now involves a player who's not here at the moment, so I'm not going to clear that anytime soon.
So let's have you roll.
That's an 8.
Okay. So one of your rivals in the guild advances their agenda at your expense. Do you think that song Cullen, or do you think that's somebody else?
Um, I think
So I know Song Cullen's kind of outside of that, but I just want to make
yeah,
sure.
yeah. That's what I was thinking as well. Song Cullen seems to be operating outside the guild. Not to throw in another NPC.
That's okay.
But
I love NPCs.
we've kind of mentioned her. Why not the daughter of the guild master, who I kind of screwed over with Dantalion's help? Her name is Blooming Shade. And I just thought, look, she shouldn't be uplifted at expense of everyone else just because she's the guild master's daughter. So I kind of made her name Mud to the rest of the guild. I think she kind of knows who did that.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that you'll certainly pick up is that she has a crew now,
Jesus.
and she has a group, and her group, is all still alive and uninjured right now, as opposed to your crew, and so she is pushing on that. Rumors have gotten out that the boss has given you some kind of big job,
Mhm.
and you have not yet finished it. So people are asking around about what is it exactly that Opal is working on. How can maybe something that we can get in on? And
Right.
and that is the push that is happening right now.
Damza is not allowed to leave my quarters. Not that I can stop him.
Until you can get the tome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be a bit of an ask trying to get that. The one of the focal items for the heretic. It's gonna be I'll cross that bridge when I get there.
So we will come back to you on that. So what I want to do is I want to start with Dantalion, because Dantalion was flying out, had seen some of the things in the city. I want to figure out where Dantalion is going, and then I want to come to Arklow and check in what Arklow's been up to. We can even come up with a love letter kind of thing if you want to make a roll on something. But we'll come to that second. Dantalion, you let the winds carry you out here into this freezing snow. You smelled the smoke in the air. You saw the scenes down below. And how is it that this memory of Ember comes to you?
I think it is seeing the. I think there are sort of fires burning on the ground below as I'm flying, which are sort of all dotted around the district. And as I see them coming up, I just get a memory back of the flaming summoning circle through which I was brought here in the first place. And as that memory comes back, I think I remember, and as I can hear the sort of the name Dantalion being called out and intoned by this sorcerer, and as that sort of comes back, I think I kind of get that that memory of just they're in sort of cowled robes, as is traditional, but I can hear their voice coming out, which I think is quite appropriately similar in quality to mine at the minute, quite croaky and rusty sounding, damaged by smoke.
I like the idea I've seen before where the smoking and tobacco and stuff is an invocation for fire mages or followers of the fire gods, that they have that husky voice that comes from that, and that you'll remember that. What does that lead you to? What are you feeling, and where do you want to go? What's your agenda?
Oops, sorry, I muted myself. So yeah, I think having my initial plan had been to seek out Grimfinger and speak with them about what it was they sorry, but what it was they wanted from me. However, I think I think with this revelation, sorry, I think I kind of feel almost like a pull towards a certain district in the city, probably one of the ones a bit further out towards the edge, one of the lower, lower rent districts.
Yeah, and it will take a bit. I mean, you have to kind of bank, catch what air you can, probably land and leap off again to carry yourself out towards the margins of the city, where the jumps across between the neighborhoods are a little more perilous, where you can actually see the buildings kind of rock a little bit because they aren't quite as balanced, the islands there. And what is it precisely that you're looking for?
So yeah, I feel like this is the area where I was originally summoned. I don't think I know exactly where, so I think I'm going to kind of search around to see if I see anything I recognize. Yeah.
Let's have you read the world.
Certainly.
What are you feeling? You've got 3 states now.
I'd say it's probably somewhere between mad and sad. I'm going to go with sad, actually. I think there's definitely a feeling of loss to some extent, I think.
Let's have you roll.
That's a 5 in total.
So the good news is you get to mark XP. The bad news is you will kind of land down, and this is a scatter shot area, but it's weirdly quiet here. And there should be more people out and about. And it's probably sparsely occupied, but there are still people who are here. And you will see a group of people, armored, swords, bags, coming out of a building that you would guess would be like a hostel for the area, with bloodied weapons, and carrying what looks like loot. What do you do?
I think I will take on a more inconspicuous form, which probably still looks quite striking because I don't think Dantalion really goes for looking like average people on the street. But but yeah, just not obviously a demon. And I'm going to wait for them to sort of leave the hostel, and then I'm going to go inside to see if there's anyone that I can help.
There are a bunch of these people. You're trying to hide and keep yourself hidden away as this is going on. Let's have you roll risk.
Certainly. I forgot to mark my. I think I'm going to be doing this with anger because, it looks like a scene of violence has just happened. That's a 7 that time.
So I think you will keep yourself hidden. But as you're doing that, as you kind of keep yourself there, you will realize that there are several more of these groups moving around the area, and you're pretty certain that these are raiders from the actual still lands, the shorelands. Sometimes they will track the city, bring their longboats up, attach on, and raid through an area, and that is what has clearly happened here. And that will be confirmed when you go to the hostel, and you can see the scene as you can imagine there. The raiders, they hate the city. They hate the city because the city comes and attacks and steals things from the land, both with magics and other things. Sometimes eats other cities, and when these raiders come, they have no mercy. So I will come back to you.
Certainly. Just one. I hit my. I'd hit an advance at the beginning of the session as well.
Okay.
I think if it's okay, I'm going to take the what's it called? The absorb move from the channeler.
Sure. Do you have gold?
I did have 1 gold left.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. And what does the absorb move do?
I can draw on emotions to shape magic. I can absorb the mark boxes of emotion from somebody or from an NPC, either from a PC or an NPC, and it gives me channels, which I think eventually, if I take another move, I can use to do stuff with.
Right.
And it also lets me, do some. Sorry. Manipulate other people's emotions a bit, basically, I think.
I like it.
Yeah.
Let's come to Arklow. After that fight with the angels,
Yes.
and you got dragged down into Damsa's warren in the Vienna underground, the great sewer tunnels there.
Their go-to move, tell me secrets.
Yes. It's like he sets that up.
Yeah, it's weird. A little bit meta.
They everybody split in different directions. What did Arklow do?
I think what I did is mechanically I'm spending 5 XP, and I'm going to get the Ceaseless Studies move.
Okay.
And then I'm going to, I think, craft something that is able to combat those things.
Something
angels.
out forward. Okay. So how do you want to do that? Is that your high wizardry, you think?
I was thinking it might be the Ceaseless Studies thing, to set your mind to a task, and it's the task is the making of a thing, or finding out how to build it first, or something like
Sure,
that.
I like that. So what are you willing to give up to do this? To
I'm willing to give up my time, my health, relationships with everybody. I think I just went underground. I was just like,
who do you care about that you have that is a relationship you'd be willing to give up?
Let's see, do I have anything marked here? Crafted. Looks like I don't really have people particularly.
You're a burning lone wolf.
Yeah. maybe it's mostly my health, and do I have cash money? Where my money at? I do have 2 gold, if that would be helpful.
And this was your first advance, right? The Ceaseless Studies?
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't cost you a gold. So yeah, you could spend a gold and you'll still have 1 left.
Okay.
So that gives you a +3 to roll with.
Interesting. And do I roll with an emotion with that one, or
No, I believe you roll just with what you've chosen there.
Excellent. Shazam. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9. So everything wagered must be sacrificed before it's complete.
Oh, yes. That's how I do.
So go ahead and mark your light and your severe wound box.
Ugh. My money gone.
What is it that you spend your soul stuff to find out, to make? Is it that you find an object, or is it that you're making something? What is it?
I like the idea, especially what was revealed with Dandelion, is like basically what we know of the angels is they're like the antithesis of the Damses order, right? And they're like angelic.
So the demons are embodiments of emotions, feelings, passions, whereas the angels are embodiments of conceptual things more.
Interesting.
More abstractions.
Interesting. Okay, so I think what I would like to do is have it be some sort of similar thing to parallel what happened to the flashback with Dandelion, is that I'm consulting some sort of like a summoning that drains me of my life a little bit, but it probably wouldn't be a demon then. It would be whatever can provide me with like these notions about how the angels are like fallacies, so that like the weapon is basically a thing that proves whatever their notion is wrong, and then it kills them, basically.
So is that a ghost? Is that a lost familiar? Is it another kind of magical beast? Is it the spirit of the city? What is it you're calling up?
What if it's dead angels, like their previous dead members of the orders that know secrets about the current living ones, or something like that? I don't know who else would know these things about the angels that I could commune with.
Yeah, I think that when the angels are fragmented, they become less absolute, so they can communicate. They get some of the bleed of humanity into them, but they are, because they themselves feel that they're corrupted. They have this twisted look to them. The appearance that they generate is kind of this horrible Bayonetta angel style sort of, but even more warped looking thing. And this angel will say, you need a blade, a tautology blade. You need a blade that caves in on itself. There's a way to make that, but it becomes a part of you when you do that.
Yeah, I like the idea of this because it's like I was reading the Elric books, and it could be like that sword, right? Like the sword that saps some of my health.
Oh yeah,
but basically
so you're going to make the Stormbringer.
Except that when it cuts things, it convinces them that they're dead, but they're not dead.
Yeah, I like that. So this thing, it has all genders. Will whisper to you an impossible bit of information and put that in your head so that you can imbue that into an item that you enchant or craft.
Epic.
So that is in your head, and when you have it in your head before you get it enchanted, it's like having bees in your head. Like it is just buzzing and moving around the surface of your brain. like there's a swarm in there. Does that sound okay?
Oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
down with it.
All right. We'll come back to you on the crafting of that. Opal, we will assume right now, just to put a pin in it, that Damsa is resting in your lodgings, recovering from his trials. Does that seem fair?
Oh yeah, sure. It's trials of lecturing Opal about the book. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's worn him out real well.
he brought your assistant back.
Yeah, that's true.
As a tome foretold, as foretold in prophecy.
I think Opal is quite tired as well. And Damsa took the liberty of resting before he could tell me about where Song Cullen is. So I think what she's going to do is first she's going to call up her one remaining underling who isn't stabbed or dead or both.
He's recovered from his runs and his exertions. He looks upset. I believe this is this false. This is False Cloud, right?
Yes.
Okay. And he's like, "What, Lady Ocean? What do we do? I'm good at stabbing. I just need to know where to stab."
We might need that soon, but right now, respects have to be made. You stay here and watch over Open. I'm going to go retrieve Soft Sky.
I don't think you should go by yourself.
Now, most people would say one shouldn't get sentimental about people who work for you. And I think we're talking in Opal's quarters, and we moved Open Evening from the table. It's probably not comfortable. She's probably on Opal's bed, honestly. Damsa can go sleep near the toilet. I don't care. And Opal is just kind of like, I understand your concern, False Cloud, but there's no bond or respect to be had if I'm just. I think Opal's trying to come up with some macho mafioso saying, but really what she wants to say, she doesn't want False Cloud to be hurt. Look, it's been a long day. I'd rather your strengths are elsewhere. This is just picking up Soft Sky. It's fine. What I know about Song Cullen, he's probably moved on. But I want to make sure. Just make sure keep Open safe. Damsa. Shit, I promised him. All right, keep him safe as well.
Okay.
I'll be back soon.
And you will head over, and you are going to try and locate the body of your associate, your underling. Let's have you read the world, because bodies don't just stay in alleys.
Hey. God no! Why would we assume that in this fantasy world? I'm feeling sad. Soft Sky was a bit of a lush, but they were fun to drink with. Damn it. That's within 0. Ooh, that's a 10. Thank God. I don't think I rolled at a 10 ever.
So I think that you get to there, and you will get to the alley, and you will ask around. The body's not there, but you will ask, and somebody will direct you to a local, essentially, merchant who deals in perfumes and valuable things. And when you go in, he sees you, and he does the gesture of the guild.
Yeah, I gesture back. I think it is exactly what you did there. It's over the heart.
Yeah. He says, I found one of your people. He had the marker of the house on him. His body was there. I wrapped him and brought him in. Is that what you're here for?
The oboe nods.
I had nothing to do with it, but
I believe you. Don't worry. We know exactly who did this. Again, what's coming to them? How is he? The body, I mean.
there was a great deal of blood. I've washed him, and wrapped his throat where it was slit, and I perfumed him a bit. I wasn't sure how long it would be before you came to gather him, but he is wrapped. I can call for a carter if you wish to transport him somewhere.
Opal nods again, and thank you for the service. I'll be sure you'll be compensated for this. Can you take me to see him?
Yeah, and he'll take you to the back room. He nods. He knows that he's, this is not just out of the greatness of his heart, but he has a working relationship with your group. He's cleaned the body. He has, as he said, has wrapped the neck. It has a almost like a very thick scarf around it. And otherwise, it is, it's a pale body. I think the years of drinking that you could read on him is probably even more pronounced here now. You see the broken vessels in his face from that. But otherwise, this gentleman has done a good job of preserving the body for you here.
I kind of want to recall something about Soft Sky.
Sure.
Actually, were you meant to ask me a question or two as well? Actually.
Oh yeah. Let me see here on this. What kind of network? I mean, this perfumer, this guild person, knows enough to come in and step in. Is this common? Is this uncommon? What kind of network do your people have on the streets?
I think I'm definitely leaning more on the whole neighborhood mafioso thing. I think this is I think we're very much like well known to small business owners like this perfumer. It is very much and this may be because I spent the weekend watching The Irishman. So that's affecting my thinking about this.
Certainly.
Yeah. So I think it's very much you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours in the future sort of arrangement with most of these businesses. So this perfumer would know that. The guild, specifically myself, probably will owe them at least some service in the future. It's not something you can cash in that easy. You can't just say like, all right, while you're here, can you go break some legs? There's a bit more formality than that. But yeah, it's more expansive the lower you go down the hierarchies for sure. I don't think. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I have one more question for you. Who is it that you now need to visit to tell that this person is dead?
Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how to tie in with what's going on with the world. Okay. Stop me if this is a bit much.
Sure.
But Soft Sky. they're nice, but he did have a drinking problem, so his family didn't want him around much. After all, when you're busy being like, when your family, specifically your dad, is busy being like the high navigator or whatever, you kind of fall through the cracks somewhat.
It's one of the rumored dozens of children sired by the High Navigator over the years, some more bastardy than others.
Yeah. In terms of the bastard scale, I guess Soft Sky would be in the, the bastard scale. I say that and then I suddenly realize, what's the spectrum of that? He's one of the less bastardy ones.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to stop saying that.
Sure. Yeah, so there are some higher placed people who need to be told about this, who probably aren't going to be so keen to find out that this is the business that Sky ended up in, and there are going to be questions about how they passed.
Well, I'm in the business of lying to people about my motivations.
Yes, you do.
Their name is probably not Soft Sky. So
No, because that had been one taken on by the family. We will call them the Sunders.
Yeah, I think because I feel like kind of my moments drawing to a close. I think there's a moment where, like, when we're getting the cart out to take the body, Opal's kind of looking out the sky, trying to see if she can find any sight of that yonder demon. Because I got a mixed success at that intimacy move, so I didn't avoid romantic entanglement,
Right?
or emotional entanglement. All right, what's that? It's emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You still have some feelings.
Yeah. So while I'm trying to figure out like what to say to Soft Sky's family, I think Opal's kind of distractedly looking up the sky to see if there's any winged creatures out and about.
Just the snow and the hail starting to come down. That pitter patter of that. We'll come back to that. Dentalian. We see you look around this charnel house.
Yeah, and I think for a moment, Dantalian is just going to kind of look around in probably shock, but not exactly. More, it's less shock, I think, and more just like disgust, I suppose. But yeah, they're sort of surveying the scene that's been left behind. I think they will make kind of not a cursory effort to see if anyone's still alive. They will genuinely look, but at the same time, they're not expecting to find anyone.
Oh no, yeah.
I've already marked a point of humanity for my judgment move because it's appropriate. But yeah, I think that sorry. Yeah, I think that there's a Dantel is just going to sort of look around the scene, and then head back out onto the streets and I think probably he's going to take off and start circling, and seeing if there are any more of these raiders left on land, or if they've all fled back to their ships.
Sure. How about this? I think you will hear. It looks like most of them have started to head back to the ships. They're getting back to there. They're trying to get back there before daybreak. They're using the clouds to cover. But I think you will hear the sound of an axe, and you'll kind of sweep down, and you will see a group of small group of these raiders, and they're in a building, and they're at they've pushed a carpet aside, and there's clearly a floor panel there that they are working at with an axe.
Yeah, I think Dantalion's claws extend from the end of his fingers, and he is going to just barrel into the room and start laying about himself with his claws.
Absolutely. I think that there is no question that you'll be able to get the jump on them and surprise them. But let's see how well that turns out for you, if there is any cost for you. And let's have you roll neutralize.
Certainly. I will be unsurprisingly channeling anger here.
Fair enough. Move to that spike.
So that's an 8 in total.
Okay. So on a 7 and 9, you generate 2 hold, and you're going to take some harm in doing this. This is a gang effectively here.
Yep. So I think no, I think I'm going to. I was going to go for inflict harm and suffer little harm, but I think that Dantalion isn't particularly controlled at the moment, so I think I'm just going to go for inflict harm and impress, dismay, or frighten your opponent.
Oh yeah. So I think, given it's a gang, given that you've rushed into them, you've got 2 armor, right?
I do, yes. I've got 2 armor.
So I think you'll just take a point through on that. Describe to me the 4 of these raiders. They've got armor on, axes, but you're in amongst them. What does that look like when? I mean, you're going to kill all but one of them. And the last one of them is going to run terrified away. What do we see on screen?
Yeah, so I think we see Dantalion move in, and say he's got these long dark claws coming out of his fingers. They look almost like cat's claws, but bigger and thicker. That sort of looked and curved. And they, as he tears into the raiders, they whatever sort of chitinous demon material the claws are made from, they shear through the sort of armor as if it weren't there, and just sort of tearing through the links, sending sort of bits of metal flying. And as he fights, I don't think he ever, like, there's never a point where he's like stops moving. He's just kind of spinning between the different combatants, tearing at them. He's fighting sort of like that, like hamstringing people, stepping away and launching into somebody else. It's brutal and messy. There's absolutely no sort of there's no like control or technique behind this. It's pure emotional release, basically.
And the last one, runs off desperately, clutching his hand to his arm. Their blood is just pouring out. The arm is kind of flopping at his side as he's running in terror out there, and you hear his sort of panic screaming gasps as he's running, and flees back to the boats, where he will tell a tale of a demon having set upon them. Then do you leave?
I think there's that moment where he almost chases after the last one, but sort of stops himself at the last moment. And we see his sort of form shift back to another, attractive human form. And he this like trapdoor that they were working at. He's going to like bang on it a couple of times, but obviously just with his fist, and call down, say, "The raiders have gone. I have fought them off. It is safe for you to come out now, I think."
Let me ask you this, Dantalion, and I'll let you decide. A, are there people down there? And B, are they still alive?
Yeah, I think that there are people down there, or someone down there. And I think they probably are still alive, at least for the time being, because I think the raiders wouldn't have been making such an effort to get down there otherwise.
And I think it will open up, and you're a little surprised because they, you just saying that the raiders is gone for any sensible person, but they open up and you will realize that it's children. That's the only reason they opened it up, is because some adult told them. And you can see that there's a group of kids. The oldest of them maybe has what passes for a dagger in his hand that he holds up threateningly. Sees you covered in blood, sees the blood everywhere, and he pushes the smaller kids back as he tries to keep from vomiting.
I would say it may be best if you remain in there for the time being. I will try and clear things up a little.
Dantalion, before I cut away, they shut the thing, they go back down there. We see you survey the scene. How do you clean the scene like this?
I think he places all of the body parts that he can find onto the rug that they sort of pulled back, and rolls that up, and probably for now just shoves it against a wall. And I think, it is just going to be honest, that's probably going to be as good as
that's probably as good as I imagine. That's great. Arklow, tell me, how do you want to do this tautology blade creation?
I think I would need to go to some place of like power, I think, to be able to do that. And I guess I would need to get the blade first and imbue that in the blade, right?
Yeah, I assume you can get a blade, a good quality blade. That doesn't seem like too much. You spent that gold, so let's say that's part of this.
Okay, I put a picture of what it looks like, and it's very pretentious and good. In fact, you probably wouldn't even be able to really hold it that well.
Okay. Well, it certainly fits with your other your over the top staff.
That's true.
So
exactly. Got a dual wield.
Fair.
Oh, hey.
So with your incredibly pretentious blade,
yes.
How do you go about enchanting it and making your blade into a tautology?
Maybe part of the pain is infusing it magically with like some of my blood, and then just to go over the top wherever this place of power that I go is, maybe some sort of church or something like that, since the blade has some, I don't know, slightly religious overtones and stuff.
Okay.
Maybe there's like a lightning bolt that comes down from the ceiling in the center and strikes the blade as well.
You are a weather mage.
I am a wizard.
Okay. I do think we're going to have you make a high wizardry roll to do this, though.
Yeah, and since I go to the place of power, can I suck in some mana first?
Yeah, let's see how much damage you do to the area first.
Yeah. When you put it like that. Okay, and I am feeling, what is it feeling like? I think this is his reaction to being like accosted by something that he doesn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to mark peace and take away from bad, which is what I was feeling when, or actually power instead of fear. Because if I remember correctly, the angels infused me with like a sense of fear.
Yeah, you were a little terrified.
Yeah, a little bit. And that's a 0.
Okay, so go ahead and roll.
Which is a 6.
That is a 6. So I think you will definitely get that mana. But I think you deconsecrate this shrine.
Oh no.
Like, and this is a place that you've come to before where people, you come and they respect your work as a weather wizard, and you come in and you eat the little god soul magic that's in the altar.
Oh. Dear Lord, 6 pounds, 4 ounces, baby Jesus.
Yes, there you go. And you will draw that, and you kind of gotta do this quickly.
Yeah.
Before the priest, the servitor who let you in, finds out that you've destroyed their center of worship.
It's got like a little singed.
Yeah. Basically, they will know when they come to pray, and there's no feeling of the presence there.
Yeah, maybe.
So let's have you roll high wizardry then.
+1. Shazam. Oh. It's a 4.
So the good news is, both on this roll and the last one, is that you get to mark XP.
Yeah. My poor blade. Maybe I can take a move that makes me succeed.
Here's the thing. On a miss, you can still choose to have the spell go off.
Oh, excellent. I like.
But you suffer two drawbacks that I choose.
Okay, sounds good.
No, you don't want to have the spell go off?
Oh no, yeah, I want it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Give it. Hit me.
I think that this blade is very apparent to angels. But I also think that this blade is part of you now. Like, you hold it and I don't want to lose this because I've put a bit of my soul in here to power this. It's a powerful thing, and a bit of my soul is in here now. Does that seem fair?
Yes.
Okay.
I need to name it.
Yes.
My new baby.
You're the Stonebringer of tautologies. Okay. Let me do Opal, and then let me come back to Damsa, and we'll bring Damsa in on scene. Does that seem fair? Opal, the body is transported to where you want it to go. What is your next step?
Yeah. Should have thought of that. I actually thought I was gonna have to confront Soft Sky's family, but I didn't have to go right now.
I mean, that might be your next step. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I want to get that out of the way. Or actually, no. I think Opal will think that meeting is probably gonna go badly, and she doesn't need any more enemies on her.
Put that on a little hard mood shelf right over here. I got a little shelf for hard moods. I just take that. I'm gonna put that right up there on that shelf. Okay. I literally have a shelf for it, but I would have to go over and pull it out.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Let me see. Let me think. I think I'm not sure. I think you can go to Damsa right now.
Well, should we bring you back in contact with Damsa?
Yeah. I think the way I'm thinking about it is the next thing Opal want to do is get this song Cullen business out of the way.
Damsa, you have a little bit of time to yourself. You sleep a little bit to recover. Opal heads out to do some things. The demon, flew off in a fit of pique. I don't know what you want to say. Just the emotions overwhelming them. But when you kind of, wake up from your nap, you can see that your apprentice is recovering on the bed. She's still quite hurt, and False Cloud, the last of Opal's functional underlings, is sort of seated by the bedside, keeping watch over her. So you get a little bit of time here in Opal's apartment before she comes back.
Well, that seems an opportunity it would be stupid to waste. So how am I fixed at the moment in terms of runes? Oh, can we just clarify whether this is 3 runes in total or no more than 3 runes on any one person?
That is a good point. Now, so that particular move, the heretic comes out of the, oh gosh, what is the name of it? In the
Onomastic.
The onomastic. Fraser, let me ask you a rules question here.
Yeah.
So for the onomastic has the true name move. When you see someone you want to manipulate with your mysterious power of your dead order, speak their true name and roll components. You must have 1 component in order to do so. The thing says that you have a limit of 3 components. Is that 3 components you can have at any one time, or is it 3 components per target?
3 components per target, usually.
Okay.
Although I have hand waved it when people go crazy, and then I'm like, you get 3, period.
Okay.
But
we may be entering that territory.
No. Three per is good. Okay.
In which case, as both apprentices are busy being unconscious and watching someone be unconscious, I am going to cast my eye around the apartment in search of those little clues to what makes Opal tick. I can't remember. Did we use Read the World for this last time?
Yeah, I think we did. And I think what we did is that if the MC asked the questions, I actually ask it of Opal to kind of reveal those things. So what do you want to roll with? You are pretty balanced on your states.
Yeah.
You're not overwhelming.
And just to make sure that I've got this right, I've spent a gold and 5 experience points to gain another move.
Yep.
Which is it's from the Cultist playbook, and it's called Piercing Gaze. So what am I going to roll with? I think I'm going to roll with. I think after the excitement of last time, where we truly discovered the power of the book, I think I'm on a bit of a come down now, and so I think I'm going to go with sad.
Okay.
Because I just need to demonstrate the book again to someone, so I'll roll with +1, and that's 9.
That is a 9. So on any rolled, MC will ask you a question or 2. What Opal in here provides some insight into your past with Song Cullen?
Ooh, I think what Damsel will find is something that Opal had dug up from normally it's buried at the very back of of the bookcase. In fact, there's a false back in the bookcase behind there. There are like more stuff. Damsel doesn't know that because the bookcase is covered up, but Opal dug out something from there while Damsel went take a nap. It's I think it's a shared journal between the two, and it's the last one. And what's Damsel pages through it, you can see that like every couple of entries, it alternates between Opal and Song. So it's the kind of thing like I'm imagining they kind of hide it in like different drop boxes. The other grabs it and writes something. It's how they send letters to each other. And I think you can tell from there that like you can trying to imagine the kind of relationship that would require something that elaborate.
I suppose what I'm interested in is where, if I flick to the back of this diary, do I get a hint about the nature of the breakup or the cause of the breakup?
We have two people placed in the guild, both ambitious, working their way up. And of course, them having an affair, having interactions on a personal level would be frowned upon. So I assume this journal is part of the way to get around that. So yes, Opal, how does it end?
Give me a second to look up something. Okay. One of them proposes to take over the guild by force. I just want to figure out who of the two. Because I mean, it could obviously be Songko, and he seems ruthless enough to have done that. Or would it be more fun to say that it was Opal who proposed that? And
that's your call.
Yeah, I think. Oh, okay, here it is. Yes, I think it sounds more fun if Opal was the one who proposed it, and to Opal it seemed like an idle exercise. Like, oh, what if we did this? But then Song Cullen's replies are like, were kind of like not hysterical, but like suddenly suspicious and freaking out a bit. And there's intimations that if she keeps talking about this, he's gonna have to tell the guildmaster. So what Opal did was, you can't. I think
Yes.
That's where the entries end. But clearly, Damsel can tell Opal did something to get Song Cullen out of the guild. The last entry is Song Cullen being like, "If you do this, I'm gonna have to sell you out." And yeah,
perfect. So Damsel, yeah, I think that counts as a rune.
That's great. Thank you. That's fine. Thank you.
Let's bring Opal back on scene. Get Opal connected up, and then we'll check in with the others and see if we want to bring any of them in on the scene after we have a chance to have you two have a conversation.
Yeah. So when Opal comes back, are you still reading that journal, or you put it back?
Oh no, I'm a professional.
All right. So yeah,
he has put it back where it came from.
Yeah. So Opal comes back. She looks quite withdrawn. She sees you, and she's like, "Oh, good, you're finally up now."
Look, I had a very stressful couple of hours saving someone who turns out to be our apprentice.
Oh, come on. You're not going to begrudge me that, are you? I thought you'd gotten over it by now.
Well, once she's well, I think you owe it to her to explain her true destiny to her. Or would you prefer me to do that?
I think we can do that at the same time. It's up to her if she wants to go off and scrub toilets or whatever it is you do. I don't know. I don't know why she would give up all this.
She would give it up for the power of the book.
Oh, don't you stop.
The power that you have come to recognize.
I recognize power when I see it, yes. But that's the thing with this city. There's different kinds of power. What about the one we all nearly died to a couple of days ago? The one that caused this, and she raises her broken hand.
And I believe the book allowed that to happen because it has brought us more closely together, Opal. We are now bound together.
You can say that about a wheel of cheese that feeds a family for a few months. Actually, no. Cheese doesn't last that long. A few days at least.
No, you can scoff all you like, Opal, but I know what's in your heart now.
I think she'll.
And I think I would like to probe, because I do like having a new move that I can use.
Fair enough.
I would like to probe Opal, backed up with my piercing gaze. So probe, let me think. Oh, hang on, I must mark sad. I beg your pardon. If I mark sad, that means I can unmark joy.
That's correct.
Yes. Then I think this is serious business. So this is about the book. So this is about power. So I'm going to roll plus power, which is +2. That's 12.
Look at you.
So normally I would hold 3, but with gaze I get a freebie 4th one, which is what is Opal? What is your character really feeling? I get that one for free, and then we'll work outwards from there.
Okay. I think you can see that Opal is quite withdrawn. She looks gaunt. She looks tired. She looks like it looks like so many things are piling onto her. She's feeling quite strung out. She would dearly like to lie in bed for just a few hours, but her bed's occupied right now. This is probably the most vulnerable you've seen her.
So this is stressed, tired. The weight of the world is on Opal's shoulders. So my then going back to the straightforward hold 3, then what do you intend to do next, Opal?
She intends to bring out Song Cullen's location from you, take care of that business, and then put you and Open in someplace safe where she could keep watch over the two of you until she could figure out what to do next.
And so, what do you wish I'd do?
Besides just give her what she wants.
Well, I mean, that would be a truthful answer to the question, I think.
Yeah. I mean, in a general sense, she wants to just get what she wants out of you, and then you can feck off. But I think generally what she wants you to do is to just cooperate with her for now, at the very least with the Song Cullen business.
I was going to say, so precisely, you want me to give you Song Cullen as I promised I could do.
Yes.
Okay.
She wants you to give her the book, but I don't know if she'll be open about that.
Well, which of those? Because honestly, which of those two answers do you give me?
Right
which
now,
of those two answers do I divine from your evasiveness when I ask the question?
Yeah,
I think you said the Song Cullen thing first, so I think that demonstrates that's top of mind for Opal right now.
Yeah, given that she just retrieved her underling's body, and we're talking about her apprentice or our apprentice that got stabbed. Yes, and the book that's out there. Yeah, Song Cullen's in her mind.
Okay, and the second order question and last, how could I get you to ... help me get the former Grandmaster's soul page to the top of the central spire of scholars?
Lend her the book.
Oh, well, that's a truthful answer, but that's going to be a difficult one to do.
Yes. I would
Asking a
like,
lot of favors there,
yeah.
Dan. So.
I would like to bring right now. How about Arklo? Are you in a position where I can kind of bring you in on scene?
Oh yeah. I spent 5 XP to get the familiar and its bond. I think that makes sense for my sword.
Yeah.
So I've got +1 hunger. It's 3 harm, AP dangerous.
Okay.
And its name is Prophet.
Okay. You show up at Opal's lodgings. The guy downstairs looks at you. He knows who you are. He makes a certain warding sign when he sees you with your burnt eyes, and sends you upstairs. And as you, Damsa and Opal, are finishing this conversation, been gone for a while, you will see a very worn out looking Arklo. Like clearly Arklo has been through the ringer. You can see that. But Arklo also has a glow to him.
Yes. What is in this room?
Some nice couches. There's a table there that had a lot of stuff, but there was a nearly dying young girl had to be placed on that table for a while. She's in Opal's room now. There's an open balcony where Dantalion flung themselves out of. There's a bookcase. There's a big tapestry of the city.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. I know exactly what I'm gonna do.
Oh no, that's never good hearing you say that.
I take out my sword in a wide, huge flourish, even with the hilt on still, and I put it down in the table that's all ruined or whatever, so that it's just enough damage to make it hold still. And I say I have the answer to all of our problems.
Do we have a legend of the sword in the stone or similar?
The sword in the table.
That's up to you.
Just asking.
We certainly have a super ornate blade that we have a picture of that is now embedded into this table.
It might even look like there's a person at the hilt.
So this is a physical sword.
Yeah, it's real.
And did it just appear in your hand, or do you kind of draw it as traditionally people do?
Yeah, I took it out of my rose, but it's still in the scabbard, I think. And the scabbard, I just used the force to drive it through the table.
Oh yeah.
Because the scabbard looks cool. I don't want to unsheath it.
Is there a role to avoid being impressed? Because I think Dante is very impressed.
I think it is.
It's risky.
Very cool. It has a lot of meaning to it. You love stuff with meaning, and it has a lot of meaning.
Roll to not become my minion.
Because does it have runes on? Is it inscribed? Is there some way for me to define its purpose? Or
there's a picture in the character keeper if you want to look at it. It's underneath our clothes. It's ridiculous.
Oh my!
I crafted it in order to kill the angels. This thing can kill angels.
My. Oh, by the book.
Oh, don't get him started on this book.
The other thing, Damsa, is once you get close to this thing, you don't like it.
Oh, can
Because
I?
this blade destroys meaning.
What?
And
The tautology
the little
Yeah.
familiar head seems to wink at you. Just kidding.
Well, I definitely want to analyze this.
Absolutely.
When you use what you have at your disposal to assess a place or situation or thing, like a sword that destroys meaning.
But does the sword destroy the meaning that you try to derive from understanding it?
Well, I think that will depend whether I roll a 6 or not. So what am I going to use? So I use power, I clear fear. I'm going to roll with fear at -1 because this is just inconceivable. And that becomes a 6.
Well, the good news is you get to mark XP.
Or can I suggest that I could help
Sure.
understanding it by giving that information that I've already given about it?
I like that. Let's, when you act to help another player character, how are you helping?
It is very, I want to say joyful, but it's like boasting and I don't know.
Yeah, you're very excited about this blade.
Yeah, I think it's joyful.
Oh yeah, check it out. Oh, it's so cool. Let's have you roll with joy.
6, 8.
So I don't think there's a necessarily a danger here, except that Damsa has a pretty clear sense that this is a blade that destroys meaning. But what is your analyze question? You get to ask 2.
Well, this may explain why this renders arc glow expose yourself to danger, retribution, or a cost. Because my question is, how is it vulnerable to me?
I think that we've established that it is a anti-angel weapon. So you will need to get a demon to deal with it.
Oh.
And your second question?
Let me find a white cat to stroke. Okay. Do I get a second question?
Yeah.
My second question. I don't. Where's my best way out, in, or past? What's my? No, that's a stupid question.
Okay.
Now, if I define Arklow in this context as my enemy, what is my enemy's true position with relation to this sword? You know, I'm curious if
absolutely he is soul bound to it.
Oh.
And harming it will harm him and vice versa.
Complicated moral dilemma.
That's
but
how we
good answer.
With a dead guy and a half-dead apprentice last time was a moral dilemma.
But I have delivered to you the prophet.
Then Talion, do we want to bring you in on this scene, or do you have something else you want to do?
I can join in on this scene, certainly.
Okay. So I think you will be drawn, like you start to hear this sound and you kind of follow it back, and when you arrive at the Damsa Opal's HQ, the rooms there, you will see that Arklow has this ornate blade, and the blade is just kind of muttering. You will hear it kind of just saying things, and you'll realize that none of the others seem to be able to hear it except for you.
That blade is very strange. Opprobrium does not like it. That is, I suppose, Not unusual. Opprobrium does not like many things.
Who?
Oh, the angel.
Oh, right. That happened to you. Okay, okay, all right, okay. I need. You know what? I need a drink. Just, You three talk about this sword. Arklo, where have you been? You know what? I'm, this goes for the good stuff.
Sorry about the table, but I needed the effect.
Yeah, I know you owe me a table. She says that as she's going off to grab like the good stuff from the liquor cabinet.
This seems like a good place for us to take our 5-minute break. When we come back, we'll figure out where we're headed to from here. So let's take 5. Okay.
Hello. I just pictured the sword like plunging into an angel and it talking to it, be like, hey, 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 the meaning of life is you die.
Gets all philosophical with you.
I'd a Merry Christmas to you too, Opal.
I just thought I'd try to lighten the mood, get a bit more festive. Things seem to be not going well for Opal, so.
What a ho ho ho.
Thank you.
I think it's more a kind of ha ha ha.
Hang on 1 second. All right. So we have the four of you on scene. We have this blade, Chekhov's blade, the prophet, out there literally on the table. We have Damsa's apprentice, Opal's underling, the same person, recovering in a bed with your active underling of Opal's there, watching over. We have Dentalian having returned, looking a little more bloodied, not injured, but definitely has been through something in the time since you last saw them. So let's actually start with you, Dantalion. The one of the servants has come up and has brought wine and tea up, set that out there. Food has been kind of fresh bread and cheese has been put out there for you, and then they kind of go away to leave Opal and her strange compatriots to their own business. So Dantalion.
Can I just check in first? Yeah. With sorry, would I have found a living parental figure for the children?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Well, I think that you could have checked around and eventually found someone who would take them up, so they didn't have to. They're still mildly terrified because of what they've seen, but they don't say anything to the adult. They don't say, this person murdered all these people and left their bodies in this thing. We saw that for a little bit, but they're still a little leery.
Sure thing. No, that's fine. I just wasn't sure if I would have brought them here, but if as long as there was somewhere else to leave them, that's fine. I don't have to burden Opal with a gaggle of orphans. So yeah, in which case, I think Dantalion is going to sit on. He's going to find like just like a wooden chair, like a dining chair or something to sit on. He's not going to mess up too much with blood, and pour himself a large glass of wine, and sit and drink.
Opal's. Oh, go. Sorry. I thought you'd pause, but you'd pause to cough. Sorry, you were going to say something.
No, that was it.
Okay. I think. So Opal kind of gives Dentine a stare and says, like, do you care to explain all the blood?
There was a raid on one of the outlying districts. I had to kill several people.
Raid's been happening a lot more lately. Glad you were there to stop that, at least. Is there any reason you decided to just jump off the balcony?
I have been feeling things recently. I found my emotions difficult to grapple with. On the plus side, the violence seems to have helped with that somewhat.
Well, they certainly seem different. I think they throw. She throws a look at Damsel just to say, like, "Don't start talking about the book now."
No, I don't think I will talk about the book. I think I go and sit next to Dantalion and say, borrower, sorry, Dantalion, I am concerned that in helping you find your name, that I have disturbed your equilibrium. That was not my intention.
It is quite all right. These feelings are strange, for certain. But at the same time, there is always great pleasure in new experiences and feeling new things. And so I think once I get the hang of them, I think it will be a good thing, maybe, to such extent as we can really describe it anything as good.
Well, if you feel the need to discuss these feelings, I hope you would treat me as a friend in that.
Of course, of course.
Speaking of new experiences, care to explain this, Arklo? And I gesture at the sword.
I already did it. I forged it in order to kill angels. After we were accosted before, we needed something in order to defend ourselves. And that loss of power and helplessness sent me reeling for days as I forged this divine weapon.
Well, I'm glad you're thinking ahead. I mean, I just bought a shotgun.
I don't think a shotgun will kill an angel.
It's a damned shotgun.
I don't know what that means. My sword is better.
Well, as much as I'd care to test it out, which we might have to in the future, depending on what people want to do.
Yeah, you guys are really loaded for angels at this point. We've got one person with a protection scroll against the persecutors. We've got one person with a damned shotgun, and we've got one person with a Mournblade, the tautological weapon.
And a fourth person with an angel inside them.
There is that too.
Wait, what? Did I know that?
Dantalion, this happened while you were there. Dantalion consumed one of those angels.
Oh, right, at the end.
Yeah.
All
so he's
right.
looking at you. They're looking at you, maybe with a little bit of a side eye, as they say.
Well, in my defense, I was whisked away, and those steampunk angels freaked me out. They rocked my world, and now I need to obliterate them if they return.
Well, Damser is thinking about a trial run with a target slightly less challenging than an angel, a target called Song Cullen, because I did promise Opal that I could deliver Song Cullen, and I'm beginning to wonder whether I need to come through on that.
You're beginning to wonder.
Beginning to wonder, huh? I think Opal says, like, well, as much as this sword could be useful against angels, my immediate target right now is someone far more mundane. I think that she turns to Damsa and she's like, we've struck the bargain, have we not? You get what you want, and I get Song Cullen.
Help and protection, and I deliver Song Cullen to you.
That seems agreeable.
What I've got in mind is I believe I have a way of enticing Song Cullen into the open, where I would suggest the three of us could help you, Opal, complete this business.
In this city, help is quite transactional. I'm sure the three of you, or you, Damsa, would want something in return.
In return for your help and protection, Opal, I offered to deliver Song Cullen. What I doubt is that you and now one healthy apprentice will be able to deal with him alone. He strikes me as a very, very, very dangerous man.
You can give me something if you want.
Opal pours you a drink. Arklo gives that to you.
I mean, let's face it, Arklo would be on the street somewhere if you didn't have open house.
I like scoff as you point out the obvious.
You may have an angel-killing sword, but you have nowhere to live.
I like to be itinerant.
Look, I appreciate the offer, but Songkal may be a dangerous man, but he's a man nonetheless. This is something I have to take care of. It's not right to have to let any of you do it for me. I think she starts clicking her finger. Sorry, I just saw the chat, and Fraser says Arklo starts snoring, so Opal's just going to click her fingers in front of Arklo.
Well, look, I mean, Damsa can try and draw him into the open, but I'm not sure that Opal's in a position to do this on her own. And so Damsa, I think, will go ahead with that, but he will endeavor to get Dantalion and Arklo on side, with if necessary, once Opal's, gone where I'm going to suggest she goes shortly, I'm going to pull the old one for all and all for one.
And we are called the Four, so.
Wait, who calls us that?
I did. I made that happen. Everyone knows it now because I shouted it in the tavern.
It is a thing. It is a thing. We are four.
Yeah, I think what Onobo says before she goes is and to let the three of you plot. I think she very deliberately says all right, I'm gonna go do the thing. But she doesn't say that. She says something a bit more flowery than do the thing.
Well, what the way I will draw him out, Opal, is I believe that I can get him to he looked for the ferryman's dock. I believe I can get him to the ferryman's dock at midnight. Is midnight X hours away?
Yeah, let's say
it's been a long day.
Or dawn, or whatever's appropriate.
So I think, you've got some time. You've got a day to recover and meet.
Because what Damsa's plan is to arrange for Opal to go to the ferryman's dock at a certain time, and then leave word at the ferryman's dock for Song Cullen that Opal's going to be at the ferryman's dock at a certain time, and that will facilitate a confrontation.
Do love some confrontations.
That seems like a plan. So it's Opal getting on scene, think the role in question to see how this rolls out is going to be first about Damsa setting things up. Does that seem fair? And then we'll check with Antalya and Arclo to see how they're kind of getting prepared for what is going to go down. Sound good? So Damsa, I think this is going to be Risk.
Oh, I was rather hoping it was going to be Sway, but okay, I'll go with Risk. I thought I might have sway someone on the ferryman's dock to get the message through, but I'll go
I'm more than willing to have you lean into that. I can go that way
because I'm supposed to leave word there, so I need to convince an NPC to do what I want.
Sure.
And we could read that as at remove convincing Song Cullen that, you know, if he wants to get on top of Opal, so to speak, he needs to be at the ferryman's dock at set time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just slightly worried about. Let's see.
What you're rolling this with?
Yeah, that's what I'm slightly worried about. I think I am going to have to go with power again because I need to go down there and impress some shit out of these people.
Yeah. And you just gotta clear that fear, give yourself a check on power, and you're going to be good.
Okay, let's rock and roll. 7, 8, 9.
9.
If only no, that's too complicated. No, I'll stick with 9.
So getting somebody to go and track down this person who is sort of rumored to be a little bit dangerous. The person you talk to says, sure, I'll carry the message exactly like you want me to.
But then I have to choose 2, don't I?
Oh, let's look here. Yes.
Do I choose 2 or do you?
On a hit, they do it and choose 2. And I think you get to choose.
Okay. Well, I think on the grounds that a debt tomorrow is always better than a debt today, I will owe them a future debt.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Give a piece of yourself to them. No. I think I don't have any gold. I'm going to need to give them something now instead of later. And I have a suggestion about what I can give them.
Sure. What are you offering this street fixer named Von Herren?
I think I'm going to give Van Herren a reading of his future. I'm going to try to channel the book. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that mechanically. Just bear with me a moment.
Sure. Do you just go into the book and figure something out?
Yeah,
read the world.
I think it's read the world or probe.
Do it. I like read the world.
Yeah, I know you do. I'm worried about that.
Yeah.
So again, this is not one I can afford to go wrong. So I'm going to go with power again.
Absolutely, you'd be losing money not doing it that way.
Absolutely. That is an 11.
That is an 11. So on any roll, the GM will ask you a question or two, and then I'll give you a good detail. So what tells you that things are not going to go well for Von Herren?
I think that through the ether, the book shows me him being thrown off the edge of the dock. And so
and something has happened to him before that happens. And I'll tell you what that is.
Oh, right.
You will see Song Cullen pulling his fangs back from Von Herren's neck.
Fangs, you said.
I said fangs with your 11 plus.
Okay. That's an informative piece of world reading. I will not mention that bit. Instead, I will suggest that he needs to once he's had passed on this message, and that Song Cullen needs to get here at dawn, dusk, take your pick, if he wants to confront Opal. I tell him that he needs to head inland, in terms of he needs to go and spend a day or two in the center of town, away from the sea.
Look, I'll carry your message like you want, but you don't get to tell me what to do.
I told you I'd offer you a reading of your future, and I see your future. I see a glowing future for you if you would just spend 2 or 3 days on the central island of the city. And I appreciate you don't have to follow that, but that is my advice. That is what I see.
He looks at you in that way that says, okay. And he takes the coins that you've given him, and he will head out to carry that message. So the message has been sent. Song Cullen is going to meet at this place at dusk. And Opal, are you trying to get there ahead of them, or how is that getting set up?
I think the way they've met in the past, it is usually the two of them trying to get one up on each other, and it always ends up with the two of them meeting at the exact same time, even though one of them always tries to get there before the other to be all dramatic. But it's always a case of the two of them will enter the place at the exact same time and lock eyes. That's how it always is with the two of them.
Absolutely. And Dantalian, Arklo, how are you, getting set? There's this big confrontation that's going to happen. Are you getting there ahead of time? Are you standing watch? Are you leaving them to hash this out themselves?
I have a suggestion, David.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
What if we're like in a cool boat and we're just pretending to have like a good time on the boat, rowing and stuff?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I was thinking of basically hanging back a bit and seeing what happened. But yeah, that sounds cool.
At least this way we get to fish.
Yeah. And I imagine, because the city we've described as being up quite a ways, that there's a whole sort of lattice work of steps and things that go down to form these docks that actually connect up to the water here. So it's a big, bizarre architecture of scaffolding and things, with these docks down there, and your little, we hear the whoosh, whoosh.
Oh, yeah, that's a point. I'm in a boat. I'm going to consume my humanity and unlock my fear thing. I don't like the sea.
How does that show up for Arklo? How does he begin to realize that this is not to your liking?
I think Dantalian has sort of shrunk in on himself a bit. He's keeping his, very much keeping his limbs inside the boat, sort of sitting right in the center of the, the bench, and is not, and he's just is quiet and just kind of like constantly looking around him, looks hyper vigilant. And I think, if he sees Akko eyeing him, sort of thing, he'll say, I had forgotten I have not been near the water since, since you rescued me that time.
Well, if anything happens, I'll just turn the water to ice.
Thank you.
He'll just fall on some hard surface, unless I'm a little late.
And then you'll be like,
yeah, I'll do my best. You might be trapped in a bubble or something, but you'll be alive. This whole time I'm just like wondering if it's posturing about like the sword. So you're on like a boat, afraid of the water, and the sword's like whispering to you.
Push him over.
It's a good time. It's what you want to do with your English mornings.
And Damsa, how are you positioning yourself?
I think we cut to Damsa. We talked about some of these outer islands, because I'm assuming this is one of the kind of fringe islands, having self-contained and primitive sewage systems.
Yeah.
So
a
I
lot
think,
of runoff.
Yes, indeed. And so I think we see Damsa in a kind of an overhang with runoff coming over the front. You know that scene in Last of the Mohicans? Well, like that, but browner and smellier. But looking out of the side with an eye on Ferryman's dock.
Okay.
And I think probably also we see him notice the boat and think, I can't believe that idiot took him on the water.
And
that wizard is a danger to anyone around him.
The mist and fog from the warmer water and the cold up top creates this dense mist that hangs over everything. The lanterns that are out here are few and far between. There's very little night lighting out here, but there is that bit where there's just enough light that Opal, you and Song can walk into the light from opposite sides.
Before this kind of happens,
I
think kind of on the way, I think Opal is trying to recall what she's heard of what Song Cullen's been up to outside of the city, because their entanglement is specifically they've been outside the settlement and they've come back.
Sure.
It's like a read the world.
Let's have you do that.
All right.
So what are you going to roll that with?
Sad. I think she's remembering, some of the good times and the bad times. That's a 9.
That is a 9. So when you sold Song Cullen down the river, how did that go down exactly? I mean, like what did you throw him into the maw of effectively?
Just to make Opal look a bit more shit and hypocritical.
Fair enough.
Again, this is what happens when you watch a Martin Scorsese gangster film over the weekend and have to come back in playing a mafioso. Start thinking, oh yeah, they're all terrible people. I think what she set Song Kong up to be doing is trafficking like magical artifacts. I think specifically she planted something that she got back. It was a thing she asked the wizard to make her. And really what it has a very specific use, but that wizard is Arklow, by the way. And yeah, I think how Opal spun this story is that like Song Cullen is trying to get into magical stuff behind their back, behind the guild's back. And that was a time when there wasn't any. The 66 were quite in lockstep, as in there wasn't any unrest unlike now.
I think that when that went down, your boss had Song Cullen wrapped up, and you heard that he got sold off to shoreline magic users, like people from the mainland, off-city people who practice weird stuff, and that is what happened to him. And so he's been around weird magics.
Right.
And he steps into the light. He sees you, and he says, "You're looking good."
Always starting off with the compliments, right? There's no need to do that now, Song. Unless you're feeling really nice this morning.
I'm in a good mood.
Do you mind sharing maybe that good mood? I could use some these days.
Well, I do want to tell you that, I've been hitting some of your team, hitting some of your crew pretty hard.
Oh, I saw the results.
I just want to tell you the good news is that they're not gone.
I try to probe him. He's being weird.
Absolutely. Why don't you make a roll for me?
Damn it! And where did I leave Soft Sky? Oh no. This is fear. Actually, no. This is mad.
Okay.
He's brought up my crew, and he's doing this bullshit again. You think Oppo would like realize that she kind of brought this on herself, but
But no.
all right, that's an 8.
So on an 8, you get to ask a question.
What are you really feeling?
Well, he's very pleased with himself right now. He's very happy because he's pretty certain you hadn't figured it out yet.
Yeah, if only someone could share some info with me. But then again, I told them to feck off. I can do this by myself. Nice going, Opal.
Are you a vampire? If I ask you, you have to tell me.
How can I get you to tell me you're a vampire? No, not that.
No. He says he walks a little forward. He says, "I just want to tell you that when you sold me down the river, when you sold me out, I still loved you deeply. I had a chance to get out of that. I had a chance to step away, and I didn't take it because I knew that would put you in front of the bullseye. And when I got to the place that they sold me to, they were very excited because love is a powerful emotion. And when they drink it from you, when they swallow it from you, it makes them very happy and very powerful. And I fed them for days. I'm not going to do anything to you right now because you probably need to take care of all the people that I've turned, that I've carefully put in places around the city next to your friends, your guildmates, your family.
All this for me?
There's an empty part of me where something was, and it makes me do this now. I don't know why.
If you really want to get back at me, why didn't you do Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you just come for me?
Because
Why?
that's not getting back at you. That's what you want. You'd like it to be simple and easy and short. But no. I'm going to bring it all falling around your pretty little head.
It would be nice and easy, wouldn't it? So, is this it? I'm just gonna walk through the city, always looking over my shoulder for you.
Let's find out. And he kind of raises his hands and starts to step back. Like you can see him, like he's clearly starts to go a little translucent.
Wait, translucent because the fog, or is he just becoming translucent?
Oh, translucent, like he's going to turn to mist, and there's a big fog bank there.
Oh, okay. Just before that, can I shoot him in the head?
You could try, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've got reflexes.
Sure. What are you shooting him with?
Not with a shot. Weirdly enough, my pistol and my shotgun both inflict 3 harm anyway.
Yeah, but one is the damned and will probably do nothing to him right now.
Yeah, exactly. and the pistol has range, which the shotgun doesn't.
Okay, let's have you roll your neutralize.
This could be futile, but it'll make Opal feel better. Yeah, so I think I'm still mad.
Oh, absolutely. And then I'm going to check in with the rest of the crew after you take your shot.
5. Okay, that's a 6. If anyone wants to help.
How would they help with a shot like that? Damsa, you're probably the closest one that could help if you wanted to put yourself in harm's way potentially here.
Yeah, I think I will. Because I have a move called Slayer. When you confront the unnatural, corrupted, or twisted, roll. On a hit, the MC, tell the MC what you think its weakness is. So I'm... I'm going to roll with power. Getting close to the edge. Oh, you damn dice room. That is experience points on a 6.
I think you're like, oh yeah, vampire. I know. And that's that moment when you feel the hands on your shoulders and hear the behind you. So you're occupied right this second. So you fire that shot off. And it goes past him just because he just does that unnatural step to the side. And then he is up next to you, Opal, right by you. And he kisses you and moves on past in a blur. However, we still have Dentalian and Arklow, who are on the boat down below, kind of seeing this at a distance. Dentalian, I think you're the one who gets the most sense of this because you are a demon of joy, a demon of being drawn and affection and all of that, right? So I think you definitely, once this exchange starts, you definitely feel that sort of twisted, negative emotion.
Yeah, and I think as the pistol shot is fired, it's almost like like a starter pistol in a race going off, and Dantalion unfurls his wings and pushes off from the bottom of the boat to launch into the sky. I think I'm probably going to have to make this as a risk because...
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is you trying to get up to intercept him before he can get away.
Yeah.
And it's
I mean,
thing.
yeah. I was thinking, to be honest, as well, just for the case of getting off while I'm surrounded by sea, lifting off, I should say. Sorry, getting off while I am surrounded by sea water is something entirely different. But
that's a sea shanty right there.
So I will be rolling this with fear.
Okay.
That's a 4.
So, I think that when you launch off, you're more powerful than you quite realize, right? You're strong. This body is not still quite adapted, and I think when you kick off hard enough that the boat actually goes out from under you before you can kick, and suddenly you are in the water, and the water is hungry for you because you got away from it last time. Arklow, the boat goes whoop. You're kind of lifted up at the prow. The oars go out of your hands. You see Dantalion start to lift off and then whoosh into the water.
I do what I say. I want to create element temperamental. Like ice around it.
Okay. Absolutely. So this does this seem like you using your high wizardry, or are you just trying to like overcast your magic? Do you have like an ice spell? What do you have spell wise for this?
I have the create element.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that we can probably do this with you can push your magic. You cross out that spell and mark a harm. And on the roll, it'll do that thing. Or we can do your high wizardry.
I want to get hurt.
Okay. Then mark a harm. Your create element is going to be lost until you have a chance to recover it.
Okay, I'll put it.
And you need to roll with something.
Okay, I think I'm afraid for Dantalin because I put them in this situation literally.
I think so.
Oh, which is a -1, so we'll see. Because I have 6, 7, 8, so 7.
So a 7. So yes, I think there is a cost to this, and I think the cost is, as you said, that you lay the ice down, but Wall Dantalion is under it, under the water.
Oh no!
So you've got the boat kind of frozen in a big block of ice. It's up a little bit, and Dantalion is kind of under it, but at least not going to be sucked down into the abyss. Has a little bit of air there. You're going to need to get they're going to either to claw their way out, or you're going to need to help them. Does that seem like a fair?
Yeah, I was going for like a vase, but it didn't. It's a closed vase. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, Damsa. There's a vampire behind you.
Spin, draw, shoot.
Let's have you roll neutralize.
Oh yeah, but with what? Where's power when you need it?
Well,
I am mad as a box of frogs.
I think that sounds good.
How dare I be surprised by a fucking vampire?
You're a slayer. You should have known better.
I should have. That's 9.
That is a 9. So on a 7 to 9, what do you want?
Generate 2 hold. You will take harm in the doing. Now, I suppose it's too much to ask if I know if I take harm from a vampire, will I become a vampire?
Yeah, I would say that you know that vampires are purely about biting and turning. That just taking harm is not going to do it.
Okay, right. So then I will 1. I will inflict harm.
Okay.
And 2. This concealed, most powerful crossbow will impress, dismay, or frighten my opponent.
So yeah, you turn around and you get that shot off into this thing, and it is a little shocked because it didn't see the crossbow because you had it down, and it just misses its heart. And this is not a pretty vampire. This is that Nosferatu, blackened claws, and it scratches you. Some of it catches on that armor, but you're still going to take 1 harm through after the armor. And it is still up there by you, but much more wary about it. Opal, he's going to be gone here in just a second, but you also see this thing happen with Dantalion and Arklo out in the water, and then at a corner of your eye, you can see Damsa engaged with a foe at point blank.
Yeah, I didn't ask them to be here, but I kind of expected them to be here, I guess. I think when Song delivers that kiss, there's a moment where like Opal's knees kind of like buckle, and that's when she kind of falls to her knees. I think he's gonna be gone. I think she's quite disarmed by that. But that's when she raises her eyes, she sees all the chaos, and she's just really frustrated and mad now. So I think look, Arklo can dig Dantalion out of the mess he made. So I think she is just kind of like out of anger, just start shooting at that vampire, the one vampire who's there.
Okay, kind of get yourself together, move, start. We see you kind of doing that run along the dock as you got your gun. Now, is it you mentioned it's a flintlock, or is it a more steampunky pistol, or is it what do you imagine that this thing looks like as you're moving up?
It's a bit anachronistic. I imagine because I call it a mechanical pistol. It looks like these pistols you get out of World War I with a big like square cartridge.
Like a Mauser. Yeah.
Like a Mauser, yeah. But yeah, sure. It probably has a gear on it. Some more.
Yeah, you probably have to turn it, and the bullets go as you're doing that, and you're firing that off at this thing. Let's have you roll neutralize as you go running up to save Damsa.
Yeah,
and there's some distance because he freaked this thing out. He has gotten some space between himself and this vampire.
Oh, sure. Now I get an 11. Plus 1 is a 12.
What do you want as the results there?
All right. Okay. So on the 10 plus, generate 3 hold and take no harm. Inflict harm, take away an advantage. Oh, wait, no. Yes. No, inflict harm. Actually, I want to inflict harm, suffer a little harm, and then impress, dismay, or frighten your opponent.
Yeah. What does it look like when you? I mean, this is not a fancy vampire. This is a corporeal thing. What does it look like when you ghost this thing? Already wounded, already has that wooden stake in it from Damsa's shot.
I think I shoot them at the knees, makes them buckle down, and they're still. I'm hoping they're still alive, so Opal can just kind of like stride over to the vampire and kind of like kick it over on its back.
Yeah, that'll be because you don't need to choose the suffer a little harm because of the 10 plus. I think your other choice can be look like a badass.
That was the impress this way or Friday night.
Yeah. It's up at you as that's happening.
Can your little shitty master see through you? That's going to decide if you're going to be alive in 5 seconds or 10. All right. And I just shoot at the head.
Meanwhile, so Dantalion, you hit the water, but then something kind of grabs you and holds you in place, and you realize that your hands are kind of, as you've kind of broken the surface of the water, are now encased in ice, just as Arklo promised. It's not a great feeling, though.
Yeah, I imagine it's burning somewhat. And I think, there's going to be a moment of panic where Dantalion isn't really sure what to do. and then they're going to try and essentially claw their way up and climb to the highest point of the ice they can, and so dig themselves out of the ice, I suppose.
I think that is a risk to see if you can get out of here without too much harm, or having things go terribly, terribly worse.
Indeed. I think this is still definitely going to be with fear. I don't see that changing in the immediate future. And that's a 7.
That is a 7. So I think it is a painful, and you're going to need Arklo's help to get up out of here. It's not going to look pretty. Arklo, how do you help Dantalion get up out of here? I mean, imagine Dantalion is always beautiful and graceful and composed, but that's gone, right? In this moment here, Dantalion, right?
Yeah, their eyes, as much as you can see expression in their eyes, because they are like fiery, but they're fiery red, but they are looking wilder than normal. There is possibly actually some involuntary sweat rolling down their body, which is unusual. Again, they're very much that sort of, eyes darting about there, looking skittish, almost like a sort of a animalistic way.
Arklo, how do you help Dantalion get up and get to some kind of safety here?
I like the idea of puncturing the ice with my staff and then helping lift.
Sort of shatter it with that, and then reach down, and your sword's like,
what's up?
Hey, there's some angel in this thing. We could kill it right now.
Oh shit. I don't know what kind of rapport we have, but am I able to know if it would only kill the angel?
Oh, I don't think you have any idea.
Yeah. Something to think of.
The sword says, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. I'll just leave that as a splinter in my mind, I think.
Dantalion, you kind of pulled up. You get back up onto the boat, shivering. You and Arklo can kind of push the boat over to the docks. And I think we'll have this reunion of the four of you on this misty dock, the headless body of this vampire, kneecapped, crossbow bolt still sticking out of its chest there, as the four of you can converse about what just went down.
I didn't catch any fish.
I think Damsa, because he rolled onto the ground far up at the vampire, looks up at Opal and puts up his hand and says, "Thank you, friend."
I think she's giving that vampire this horrible look of disdain, and there's a moment where she flickers to look at you when you say that, and for a second you feel that look of disdain on you, but it melts into a more neutral expression, and she just kind of helps you up without a word.
A neutral one.
Dantalion is kind of shivering and flicking bits of ice off before they melt on him. There's probably, you see, little, I guess, get a couple of little red welts raised up on his skin, and they say, "I believe I am developing a sense of mortality, and I cannot say I care for it very much."
From now on, no water. You have my word. I thought fishing might change your mind. Bad idea.
It is quite right. I have not. That was distressing. And I think then Dantalion is going to look down at the vampire and sort of take it in for the first time, and I think they're going to reach down and just run a finger through the blood pooling from them and lick it.
There's just that weird hint, that aftertaste, because it's been turned by Song Cullen, that aftertaste of twisted love, of love gone wrong, that you can taste in its blood.
Cool.
I think this is a great place for us to stop today. I think this is a good highlight moment there. We will take up on that. I think because we're kind of in still midsection, I'm not going to do call to the table yet on you. I will do call to the table next time if you have not yet finished your task, Opal. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, that seems fair. We have to roll that move at some point.
Yep. Let's look, and we're going to look at the XP questions. A lot of you got some great XP for fails today. So if you've already taken one advance for free, the second advance you get, it costs you 1 gold. The next advance you get is going to cost you 2 gold. So remember that is going up. Okay. So you're going to need to get money, figure out how to live, because you guys are running on the margins here. At the session end, mark XP for each yes to the following questions. We didn't worry about beliefs, so we're just going to worry about the other 3 questions. Opal, did your connection with another PC cause you problems?
I don't know. The song Colin didn't seem to be a bit of a yeah.
I think that Damsa is pushing on that. Damsa, do you think that your connection to another PC caused you problems?
I think it's the flip side of that one. Yeah.
Okay. Dantalian, what about you?
Yeah, I think my willingness to follow Arklo into that kind of backfired for me.
Yeah. And what about you, Arklo?
Well, I hurt myself to save my friend.
Yeah, I'll give you a point. And then, did you face danger because of a PC's trouble? I think this whole last scene is all that. So everybody gets to mark on their XP for that. And then there is one last question. Opal, what new or significant thing did you learn about the city?
It's got vampires.
Okay.
And also, apparently, Opal has hired a bunch of YA fantasy protagonists as her underlings. Apparently, can't wait to figure out what False Cloud's secret is.
Absolutely. Damsa, what about you?
Yeah, I mean the same thing, really, isn't it? I mean it's and the conviction that everyone that is now important to Opal is at risk from a vampire placed near them.
Absolutely.
And that could, I suppose, include us.
Yeah, possibly. Dantalian, what about you? What did you learn new about the city?
Yes, similar on the vampire front, specifically for him, the knowledge that these things are sort of feeding on twisted versions of emotions is of particular interest.
Yeah, I mean, what would you be tasty or not tasty to them? That's an interesting question. And finally, Arklo, what did you learn new about the city?
Lots of stuff. The defiling of the temple.
Don't go to the church on 5th Street because the temple doesn't work there anymore.
Yeah, there's like no fish in this river. There's vampires, and I found out a whole bunch of stuff about the PCs, I guess, as well. With that missing session, I was like, what?
That is all good. So that's another XP for answering yes to that. Do you all mind taking a few minutes to do stars and wishes? Just a quick around. Let's start with the wishes side of things. We've got 2 more sessions. So in particular, things that you would have liked to have seen more of tonight, or things you want to be seeing more of in the next couple of sessions. Leandro, let me start with you.
Yeah, wishes. I think for just this session, so I think I want to step back a bit. There's been a lot of stuff happening with Opal lately.
Okay.
I don't know if you were here, Alan, but we found out that Soft Sky, the one you didn't save, is a bastard child of the High Navigator. So that was
What?
just that's just something that I just kind of threw out there. That's why I said Opal's assembled a crew of YA fantasy protagonists.
Clearly, a lot happened while I was sat on that train.
Yeah. No. Lo asked me a question. It was like, okay, what's the most ridiculous answer?
It was pretty good and ridiculous. You did warn us that it might be, but I was okay with it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with stepping back. I mean, I have my guild stuff to still worry about, but
We'll try to finish out some of your stuff and lean into some of the other people's things a little bit more.
Specifically, I do want to see more of specifically our club because Fraser missed a session because of damn Canadian internet blizzard nonsense. So I definitely want to see more of this, especially now that he's got the Veil equivalent to the attached, and I got to play that recently, and that's God, that's I can't wait to see that. It's so good. So yeah, that's my wish is just step back.
Awesome. Alan, any wishes you want to mention?
Just to clarify, today was a proof of concept. I got on a train at 3 o'clock and I got here for 8. I know that next Tuesday I can't get on a train at 3 o'clock, so it is possible that I will not get back in time.
Okay.
So I guess the wishes I would have is that when I do return in the final session, if I can't get back next week, is the complication now between having a demon and an angel and a wizard and an angel killing sword. I want to see where that's going, to be honest. And quite how you bind that into the vampire plot, I've got no idea.
Well, and we'll see about. I mean, we still have the tower as a key thing we want to get to. In that final session.
I'm kind of almost more interested in vampires than my grandmaster now.
Awesome. What about you, Dentali and David?
I'm just looking forward to seeing more of everything. Really, I think there's no like, I'm interested in seeing some of the stuff with the tower, obviously, and these vampires too would be cool. Other than that, specific things. I can't think of anything more specific than that. I suppose maybe it might be that this is more a practical wish than a like aspirational one. I suppose it might be useful to be able to have a little bit of downtime to do some like gigging and stuff, just because I've not had the opportunity really to go out and make money, sort of thing.
Actually, that's a really good point. Let's in fact, we'll probably start next session with a chance to give you to narrate some gigging and generate some money. We'll have a scene, because I think it's a good break point for that. That's a really good idea.
Yeah. But no, that's other than that. No, I think that's
Fraser.
Okay, I have a list. Okay, so
you have a list of wishes. Okay.
Yeah. So the end goal of this character is I want to become a scarred, wandering angel killer mercenary. So to complete that, I need to get messed up and take a trauma. I want to get messed up. I want to kill an angel at some point, maybe, or at least like get into a battle with one or something. Maybe that's how I get messed up.
That tower in the center of the city is where the scholars are, and they're the ones that have the angels. So yeah.
I think those are the only two major things, actually.
we can work on that Christmas wish list for you.
Oh, and also, do you want me to take away another gold then for taking the familiar and its bond move?
Yes.
Okay. Then I want to make some money.
We'll start with that.
Get rich or die trying. That's my new motto.
Yeah, if I'm not here next week, then I'm spending a lot of time cleaning drains.
Yeah. Leandro, any stars you want to throw around?
I've got a lot because again, I love these characters. I love the ridiculous. Honestly, the main thing I love is just the contrast between, again, the other three characters who are kind of like very out there mystical magic folk, and this now Scorsese brand mafioso whose sins are catching up to her. Like, she didn't apologize to Son Cullen.
Nope, not at all.
For selling him out. I think my main star, because everyone's just great. I love the descriptions Tantalian had to like finding out about themselves. I love those answers. I love Damza just conniving around, like, oh yeah, of course Opal's not here. I'm gonna keep looking around, and keep trying to like get stuff out of people. And Arklo's just great. I always love Fraser, your willingness to just go gonzo with a thing. Just like, yeah, I'm going to create a sword. It's a tautology sword. It has a stupid hilt. It's just amazing. And I'm just going to play the fantasy of it. And it's just great. And I think, my main star has to come to you to wrangle all this together. And again, give everyone like space to like fill in the world around them, and also add interesting stuff like all this vampire nonsense. Especially, it's kind of like, oh shit, I forgot vampires are a fantasy thing. I stopped playing Urban Shadows a lot lately. I've been playing a lot of Urban Shadows lately, so that's all I've been thinking about vampires. So and just the stuff you added was just, and making sure everyone had room to add stuff was great. This has been really great. I love feels like we're getting to like a momentum of some sort, and I'm really loving it.
Definitely. Alan, any stars you want to throw around?
Yeah, I mean, Damza goes to sleep, and when he wakes up, Dantalion has apparently slaughtered loads of people and have to find places for their children. That's my interpretation of what I've heard.
Yes.
Arklo has created an angel-killing sword, and Opal has gone from this slightly, arrogant's a strong word, but this very kind of self-possessed, I'm in charge of this, to this kind of emotionally weighted creature. But I have to say, little big star for, you see Son Cullen's fangs sink into his neck. Thank you for that. I will sleep well tonight on that one. Thank you.
I was very happy with how that worked out. David, any stars you want to throw?
Stars to everyone for being generally great. I really liked seeing the relationship between Son Cullen and Opal. I thought that it was brilliant. Just finally see something, not just like in person, but like with the bits with the diary as well. That was really good. I loved that. Fraser, again, mentioned already, but I really liked the creating the sword. That it felt, just that kind of classic fantasy moment, and the sort of description of it and the way it all came together was really nice. And I love the ideas with that, and I'm really interested to see how that looks going forward. It was great to as well see Damsa doing the fortune telling and it was a really nice, that whole bit with the guy on the docks was really cool. So thank you for that. And again, just to echo what everyone said, but I thought you just kept everything moving really well, and sort of stuff rolling into each other, and kept the failures, of which there were many, interesting, and classic PBTA, I think, but it really did feel like everything was kind of snowballing and like building on what happened before. So that was really cool. So thank you for that.
Fraser, I'm going to give you last word.
Yeah, I too enjoyed coming back and seeing all this wild stuff that happened. I really like all the YA drama stuff. It just was like came out of left field, and I really liked it a lot. I actually really like the scene in the boat as well. I
Mhm.
wanted to get more scenes in with Dantelin, and yeah, it was fun having Damsa suddenly like appear in the fiction, like halfway through, especially after I created the sword. It created an interesting dynamic, and yeah, all the drama, as much as maybe Leandro doesn't like being centered right now, I think it's really driving the fiction in an interesting way. So I'm completely fine with that. I think it's fine to be, you know, the star for a little while. And Lowell, you're doing a fantastic job. This is so fun, and yeah, I like the way that you run my game. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's a good game. I love looking at the sheet afterwards and seeing like just how close Damsa is to spiking power, and how Opal is on one side, is, you know, is working up all of those lines on that side. So it's
Yeah.
super fun. I'm going to stop the broadcast.
But before you do that,
Yes.
can I mention that tomorrow morning or
yeah.
Thursday morning, I will have a project on Kickstarter called Retro Punk, which is like White Hack and Blades have a baby, but the system has skill trees in it. And then the art is by Jabari Weathers, which is, just look at it, it's amazing.
It is amazing.
It like retro punk. It looks very like retro in that it feels old school, but seems kind of new as well. And it's going to be like a city crawler, so I'll be making modules for it and stuff. Where even you could even play it in the Veil if you want, but it's optimized for this new thing, so you should check it out.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you pitched that, and we'll share and retweet that tomorrow. Very excited. All right, I'm going to stop the broadcast.